CATL has another new announcement. Battery company in Michigan gets purchased, and some big electric vehicle charging news. Hi, I'm Sam Jaffe, Managing Director of Cairn Energy Research Advisors. In this week's news, first of all, starting with CATL, or otherwise known as CATL, the big Chinese lithium-ion manufacturer. Yet another win for them. Honda is going to be buying 56 gigawatt hours of their batteries. These are going to be batteries manufactured in China, made for the Chinese market, and the cars themselves will be made for the Chinese market. So it's an all-China deal. Honda's about to come out with multiple car announcements in terms of EVs. They're one of the reluctant OEMs, along with, I would say, Hyundai, Kia, and Mazda, who have been kind of playing it coy as the electric vehicle revolution starts. They're all jumping into the deep end pretty soon, and this is just the beginning for Honda. They're going to be announcing a lot more vehicles, as will Hyundai and Mazda. The battery company Xalt, or Xalt, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but it's based in Midland, Michigan. It built a huge state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in about 2011, I think, and got government money to build that, and then it never really produced anything. It's really hard being a small lithium-ion manufacturing company. So they've been for sale for a while, and they've finally been sold. There's a company called Freudenberg based in Germany that's a big industrial sealants company. They started out by buying a 33% stake, then moved it up to 51%, and are moving now towards 100%. So this, what I think is interesting about Xalt is they're proving a business model of a small manufacturer going after a particular niche market. In the case of Xalt, they're looking at marine lithium-ion batteries and e-bus batteries, trying to specialize just in those areas. It'll be really interesting to see how that works out. The other company that I'm familiar with is up in Toronto, Electrify. They've done something similar, also a small battery company, been around for a while, has trouble competing with the Asian conglomerates, and now is moving towards focusing on the forklift market, which is actually a surprisingly very large market and potentially very big for lithium-ion batteries. Electrify America, the third piece of news I want to talk about this week, has announced a $300 million round of investments in their fast charging network. This is money they have to spend. The California regulators said, we're going to either fine you enormous amounts of money, or we're going to tell you you have to put it into electric vehicle charging infrastructure in response to the Dieselgate scandal. So they have to spend the money, and they're now starting the plan of rolling out these very, very large fast charge systems, 350 kilowatt draw for the ones they're placing in the highways, and then 150 kilowatt draws in metro urban areas. That's a lot of electricity to go through one wire. And that raises my main question, which is how do you place these things in opportune places for charging without affecting in a negative way the nearby distribution grid? That's a real problem and costs a lot of money to solve with extra equipment, extra transformers, extra potential capacitors, whatever it needs to do. So but it'll be interesting to see how they solve that problem. Also, what does it do to the battery? We still don't have advanced enough batteries that can take in that much charge without doing some kind of damage to them. So is this this 350 kilowatt draw going to just deplete the battery or damage it and lessen its lifetime? That's something still to be seen. Finally, what's the business model? It's fine to spend $300 million when you have no choice. The regulators are demanding it of you. But going forward, how do you build a business model out of fast charging stations for EVs? It's actually a really complicated thing to plan for and do successfully. That's it for the news this week. One last thing I wanted to point out. I've been doing a lot of work on Dyson and trying to understand what they're doing in the electric vehicle space and what their car is going to look like. So here's a specific request. If there's anybody out there who has an industrial design background and who's very familiar with Dyson's vacuum cleaner engineering as it affects design, but also just general design. I would love to hear from you and get some feedback about how their approach to vacuum cleaners and their other devices might influence what their car is going to look like. I'd love to have that conversation. I'm going to be in Storage Week in a couple weeks in San Francisco, and then traveling in China at the end of March. Hope I can meet up with some folks while I'm there. That's it for this week's edition of Batteries in 5. Thanks very much.